Well, hello there, Arlo Parks. Thank you for joining us on Zoom on WRNR. Where are you? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm in Hackney in London at the moment, enjoying the sunshine, feeling good, yeah.
Uh, You're collapsed in sunbeams, we could say. Um, so, Arlo, first of all, very nice to meet you. I've been such a fan of your record since, I got it. And we put it on the air immediately. The song Her, we've been playing that quite a bit. And, it's just amazing. This debut album, so well received by critics. You're up for 3 Brit Awards, including Album of the Year. But the true measure and epitome of your success so far, I think, is that you made the New York Times Crossword Puzzle recently.
I was very, very pleased about that. That, as you say, that was the highlight.
When I first started playing your record, I think one of the things I said on the air was, finally, there will be a new clue for crossword puzzle fans. It will no longer be Alice's Restaurant blank Guthrie. No, instead, this time in the New York Times, it was blank Parks, whose debut album was Collapsed in Sunbeams.
I love it.
But are you excited? The Brit Awards are just a couple of weeks away, right?
Yeah, they're happening on the 11th of May at the O2 Arena in London. And yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I've never performed in front of that many people before, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm excited.
I wanted to ask you about that. It looks like I think May 11th is the Brit Awards, and then your tour of the UK starts the next day.
Mm.
But have you actually played out a lot in your young career?
Not that much. I mean, I've done 2 support tours, and I did a headline tour at the start of 2020, but I still haven't yet played, a headline show in London. I've never been to the States. I feel like there's a lot to be experienced yet, which is really exciting.
So you did a bevy of American TV shows. That was all remotely done. You've never been to the United States.
I went once when I was 18 to LA for a week, and I went to Florida when I was like 7, but
Okay.
other than that, not really.
So we have a stop in Washington, D.C. in October, I believe, at Union Stage Theater. So it's a bit of a wait, but given the circumstances with what's gone on in the world, probably just as well. What have you been doing when you were making this record? Was it pre-pandemic, post-pandemic? I mean, not that it's over yet, but
It was, so I had written 2 of the songs on the record were written when I was 18, and then there were a sprinkle of songs, so Green Eyes and Just Go I made in January 2020, and then the rest of the album was made kind of during the first lockdown in London, mainly in Airbnb apartments. So it was literally just a setup, the couch, speakers on the table, pasta in hand, and just kind of writing for 2 weeks in this apartment. And it was actually quite a beautiful way to make a record, because I had nothing else to do or to think about but to focus on the art and think about the messages that I wanted to put forward.
speaking of which, I mean, lyrically speaking, this album, Collapsed in Sunbeams, almost seems like it was perfectly tailored for the kinds of emotions that people have experienced during lockdown. It won't hurt so much forever, is a good, inspiring line from Hurt that I think is helping a lot of people, deal with this in the long term. And songs like Hope, and also Black Dog, I think. I wanted to ask you about that song. On the surface, it seems like Black Dog is written about someone who is having some mental issues and having difficulty even leaving their bedroom.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I wrote it for my best friend who is going through a really difficult time. And I mean, at its core, it's about caring about somebody who's in a lot of pain. And you know, those small things, eat some fruit, you know, get some fresh air. It's that sense of caring about somebody deeply and feeling helpless in the face of something that can be brutal. And I think that it's important to talk about these topics, even if it may be uncomfortable, because there are so many people, especially during times like these, who feel very lonely, and there is still a sense of shame, I think, surrounding feeling these things. So I wanted to kind of bring them to light, and to remind people that they weren't alone in what they were living as well.
There's a little pop culture reference in that song as well, because you mentioned Robert Smith, and I was just curious, did you grow up as a Cure fan?
I didn't grow up as a Cure. I discovered the Cure. I think it was on YouTube or something, because I grew up with the internet, and I think it was Meat Hook, the first song that I heard, or Fire in Cairo. I can't remember, but I was immediately kind of struck by their work, and I love including those little references. You know, I love mentioning TV shows or books. I think that it just kind of almost roots the song and makes it feel like it has a bit more substance, because you can almost imagine, you know, someone doing their eyes like Robert Smith, like the smudged mascara and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. A perfect metaphor for the lyrical content of Black Dog. And you mentioned TV shows. Twin Peaks is a show that comes up in another song as well. What comes first for you? Because, you know, you've been described as a poet and a singer-songwriter. So is it the music or the lyrics?
Usually it's the lyrics. I mean, as you say, writing kind of comes before music for me. I think for me, because I started off with writing short stories and poems, um, and also I grew up kind of loving singer-songwriters, people like Joni Mitchell, Sufjan Stevens, Nick Drake. You know, the content of the words and the lyrics was always at the heart of those songs. So usually I will just kind of write for 10 minutes unconstrained. I'll pick out words and phrases that I like. I spent a lot of time when I was a kid kind of reading the dictionary and like picking out words that I liked. So yeah, I've always been drawn to words, but recently it's actually been melodies first, which has been interesting. So it's very fluid, I guess.
You know, I wanted to ask you because, you know, you are of a similar age as Amanda Gorman.
Mm,
Are you a fan of hers?
I'm
Did you?
aware. Yeah. I listened to her speak, and it was very moving. You know, I find it really beautiful to see young people kind of rediscovering and discovering poetry and the written word, and I think that, yeah, whenever I see a young person kind of throwing themselves into poetry and literature, it always inspires me, because, you know, when I was growing up, I didn't really know anyone else who liked poetry. I thought I was kind of the odd one out. So it's nice to see it kind of spreading, and yeah, and also having such a strong kind of emotional impact as well.
Yeah. Well, it's so nice to meet you. We wish you the best of luck in a couple of weeks at the Brit Awards. It must be a little intimidating to play the O2 Arena.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a bit scary. I've never actually been there before as well, so I don't really know what to expect, but I'm sure it will be electrifying either way.
yeah. Well, good luck, and we can't wait to meet you in the fall in the
Hmm.
Washington, Baltimore area of the United States.
Yeah,
Arlo
it's going to be
Parks, thank you so
beautiful.
much for your time.
Thank you.
Take care now.
Bye bye.